Hello class and welcome to section 10.4, which is solving radical equations. By the end of today's lesson, you'll be solving equations with square roots and determining if there are any extraneous solutions. So just like any other equation, our goal is to get this variable by itself. You can treat this square root kind of like parentheses, so we need to get rid of everything outside the square root first. So in order to do that, I'm going to divide by 1.34, which gives me the square root of h is equal to 6.72. In order to undo square root, so to eliminate that square root, the opposite of that is squared. So we're going to take and we are going to square both sides of the problem, which is going to give us an answer of h is equal to 45.11. Again, if there's decimals involved, please make sure you are rounding to two places. So we're taking care of everything outside the square root first, and then squaring to get rid of the square root. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Nothing outside of the square root, so we square both sides to start. Then we have to divide by 2 to finish solving the problem, giving us 2,112.5. Next one we've got going on here. Again, getting rid of things outside of the parentheses first. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides, which gives me the square root of c minus 3 is equal to 11. To get rid of square root, I'm going to go ahead and square both sides. So I have c minus 3 is equal to 121. And then to finish solving that, I'm going to need to get rid of the 3. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides, giving me a final answer of c is equal to 124. Go ahead and try this one on your own. First thing we do is subtract 7, square to get rid of the square root, and then subtract 5 to get a final answer of 20. Extraneous solutions. So these are solutions that you get that don't actually work for this original equation. So we get two answers here. We get k is equal to 0 and k is equal to 3. This is where you actually have to go back in and check your work. So this one, I plug in 0 back in for that initial k value. 0 plus 0 is 1. 0 minus 0 is negative 1. The square root of 1 is 1, not negative 1. And then double checking on the other side, I plug in 3. Square root of 3 plus 1, which is 4, does in fact equal 2. So our solution here is k is equal to 3. The extraneous solution is k is equal to 0. So you have to decide if those answers actually work for the original problem. So in order to solve this problem, we need to get rid of the square root first. This means that we are squaring both sides. If you remember back to chapter 7, this situation gives us a perfect square trinomial. So that's c squared minus 6c plus 9. Squaring the front, doubling the back, and then squaring the back. And that's going to equal c minus 1. If you don't remember that shortcut from chapter 7, you could have done the FOIL method and used c minus 3 times c minus 3, which is going to give you c squared minus 3c minus 3c plus 9. Simplifying gets you back to this answer we already have. In order to continue solving this problem, I need it to be set equal to 0 so I can factor it. So I'm going to subtract c and add 1. Subtracting c and adding 1 gives me an answer of 0 is equal to c squared minus 7c plus 10. In order to factor, I need things that multiply to 10 that are going to add up to negative 7. So I've got 1 and 10 and 2 and 5. Negative 2 and negative 5 can go to negative 7. So I've got 0 is equal to c minus 2 and c minus 5. In order to solve both of those, I'm going to set both of them equal to 0. So c minus 2 is equal to 0. Adding 2, I get c is equal to 2. So that's my first answer. C minus 5 is equal to 0. Adding 5 and adding 5 gives me c is equal to 5. So now that I've gotten two answers, I need to go back and check to make sure that they both solve the original problem, or I need to see if they are extraneous. So I'm going to plug in, and I'm going to say the square root of 2 minus 1 is equal to 2 minus 3. That gives me the square root of 1 is equal to negative 1. The square root of 1 is 1. 1 is not equal to negative 1. So 2 does not work as a solution. Now I'm going to go in and check. Square root of 5 minus 1 is equal to 5 minus 3. That's going to give me the square root of 4 is equal to 2. The square root of 4 is indeed 2. So our actual answer to this problem is c is equal to 5. C is equal to 2 is an extraneous solution. Go ahead and try this one on your own. Squaring both sides and then foiling that out, you're going to get x squared plus 6x plus 9 is equal to x plus 5. Solving and rearranging, the factors that add up to 5 and equal 4 when multiplied are 1 and 4. Solving, we get negative 4 and negative 1. Plugging that in on the right side to check for our extraneous solutions, we find that negative 1 is our actual solution. If you have questions about this or anything else from the lesson, please let me know when you get to class.